haven't done one of these before, so we'll see how this goes. This will be interesting. So yeah, going interactive. Pretty cool thing to let your viewers use the Mixer currency Sparks to engage with you or the game you're playing or your gameplay itself during your stream. So the easiest way to get there, obviously, Mixer.com. You'll log in with your credentials, of course, and then you'll click on your profile and go to the Dev Lab. And then what you will do is go to the Mixplay projects. It's been recently renamed to Mixplay, and you can add a new one if you want. Give it a title or assign it a particular game. I just have general ones. I don't have any specific game assigned ones. I only have one. We call it Universal. So once you create that, it'll be listed here, and it'll take you to the editor, which to really create the buttons is under the build, and you'll get all this awesome stuff. Now, how I use it to integrate in with the MixItUpApp, which is a bot chat manager, channel manager, interactivity manager, overlay manager. It's pretty full feature. It's pretty awesome. So for the purpose of this stream and how to set this up, I'm going to show you how, me personally, how I integrate it in with MixItUp. And I'm no pro by any means, but very small streamer, and thought that maybe some other folks new to Mixer and want to get going with streams and interactivity because it's a really cool feature. Figured give them some tips on what I've learned and how I have it set up, and maybe they can get some truth nuggets out of it. So MixItUp is MixItUpApp.com, and you'll just download and install it. And after it installs, it'll ask you to, let me show you here. Just waiting for it to load up here. So you'll get a login, and it'll first login. You'll have to do the OAuth for your Mixer account, so it'll redirect you automatically. Just make sure, excuse me, that before you launch this login option, you are either signed into your streamer Mixer account, not like a bot account that you may have set up, because it'll try to authenticate to the bot account, which is not what you want to do. You want to authenticate to your streamer account first, and then if you have a bot, you can set that up in here as well. So after you go through the authorization and give it permissions to access your Mixer account and everything, you'll log in. I'll get rid of this then. And I use OBS, that's the other thing. So I use OBS, MixItUp app, and that's that. So you can go in here, and we'll get back to the interactivity in a second. I just want to show you like preliminary how MixItUp looks. So you have your MixItUp, and then you have, where is it? Services. And this is where you can link your bot account, which would be like a secondary Mixer account. Mine's just called BubBot, because why not? So you can then link the BubBot account to this, and is what will send like event notices, chat commands, things like that in your live stream chat on Mixer. So that's that, and that's all I want to show you just for logging in and setting up your Mixer streamer account with MixItUp app and your bot account if that's what you want to use. So let's just go back into Mixer. So you have all these lovely grids and list of buttons and everything. These are actually really everything I use in my stream. When I stream on Mixer, these are all the buttons and labels that I use. So over here on the left you'll have scenes, which, excuse me one second, let me just move this out of the way. Sorry about that. Hopefully the music's not too terribly loud. So you have scenes. You can set up different scenes. So what that does, I just have a default one, which is all this. So if you want one that's strictly all your social stuff, like if you just want just big buttons for your Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, any other platforms you're on, you can set up another scene and name it whatever you like. You can just name it social and you can add that scene. Right, so it gives you a completely blank one. Now what you could do, and we'll get more into it, from your default one, you could create a button itself that would then switch to this scene, or button layout, if you like to call it that. I don't get that layered with it, so I just make one that has already, that I've created all that for. So let's go ahead and delete this. So after you have your scene added, you can hop over here to this column, which is controls. Now this would be completely blank when you first start. Hit the plus sign. There's multiple control types: buttons, joystick, labels, mouse, text box, etc. Now I have yet to mess with the joysticks control, the mouse control, or the text box control. Text box control, I'm pretty sure that's kind of self-explanatory. It's just a text box, or will display a text box of some sort. A button, which is what these are, these darker gray ones here. So that will allow you to trigger certain actions, whether it's text on your screen, switching to a different scene, switching to a GIF or an image or a sound effect or anything like that. And once we get back to the MixItUp app, I will show you that these buttons can actually trigger multiple things at once. So it can trigger a sound effects, a GIF, and text on your screen all at the same time. It's pretty awesome. And then labels, which are these lighter gray ones. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a label. Just has no function other than just say, hey, here's what this is. It's just text. So I use them more as a header for the buttons I have. So yeah, that's how I'm setting my stuff up. Now, let me just close this out. When you add a button, I'll just add a button here. I'll call this test. Alright, so you name it and then hit add. And now it shows up down here with this little red circle with exclamation point. What you want to do is click the little arrow to pop out the menu for that button. This will be the title of your button, or what will actually show up, like Cupcake, Creeper, Twitter, whatever. So text, we'll call this test button, and you can assign your spark cost. We'll say 20,000 sparks. Why not? Keyboard control. So if someone's on regular mouse and keyboard, they can press a particular keyboard control to trigger that particular button if you want. I don't mess with those because if someone's on the keyboard mouse, they accidentally press them, they're going to be hitting you up with that command all the time. Tooltip, this is if you hover over the button what it is. I don't mess with those too much. I'd rather it kind of be either self-explanatory or a surprise. So I don't get too granular with the tooltips, keyboard controls. Text size, I've found that the default text size works. I don't put anything special size-wise in there. I've been happy with that. And here, you can actually change the text color. What might be handy, if you want a certain theme or format for your color schemes, open up Notepad if you're on Windows, or any other Word or text editor of any sort, and I would start putting your color values in here that you want for your theme. So you want your text color to be, say, this reddish bluish gray. Alright, just to have as a reference, I would just start pasting these in here so you have them. Accent color. I'm not sure. What is going on here? Well, let's close that out. Let's go back. It's like it's freaking out a little bit. It could be my browser. It's quite possible. Let's just say FFF. Why is this doing this? This is so crazy. So you go through, add your text color, your accent color, focus color. This is the color applied when the border of the border, and the accent color is the color applied to the cooldown spinner. So anytime someone clicks one of these interactive button, you can assign the cooldown time for it in Mix It Up. So there'll be a little like countdown spinner, and you can change the color of that as well. And or you can do a background image. I haven't messed with this too much. I think if you want to link to a like Imgur image or Imgur, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Never have. So you set all your colors. Again, make a backup text document just to say save as mixer interactive palette. If I can spell right. Is that how you spell it? Oh, this isn't spelling bee. So just save that, and then you have these to reference later if you need them. So once you set all these properties up, I'm just going to delete this button because I just used one of my existing ones. You can show you one of these. So this is what a completed one looks like. Text, spark cost. Again, like I said, I don't really mess with these three fields because I found the defaults are fine. And then text color, accent color, focus color, border color, background color. And you can add meta properties if you want. I don't get, again, like I said, I don't get too granular with it. I'm not a coder. I don't Boolean, text strings, all that stuff. Not for me. And that's fine. So there's that. And then same thing with this. Now, one thing to keep in mind, there's 3 different formats of this grid. So currently, if you looked in the top right here above it, we're in the desktop mode. So this is for large displays, monitors, TVs, things like that. And then you'll have to set the arrangement. You won't have to create the controls for each layout. You just have to arrange the button layout. So if we go to medium grid for tablets, it shrinks it down. You can kind of arrange them a little tighter, or shrink them down if you need to, or resize them. And then same thing for phones. Has a different layout for that, more of a portrait mode. So once you have those set up, you will then tie these in to Mix It Up. And I'll show you how to do that right now. So I'm going to pull this over, and I'm going to go to the interactive. Well, let me show you. Hamburger menu, click it down, go to interactive. Now, once you have all this, you will have to connect it. So once it's connected, it'll change to a disconnect button. So, minimize this. And then from this drop down, you will see that you have your what is the proper terminology here? What is the terminology? Your project name. That's right. So I just named it Universal. So you have your project name here, which is the whole configuration of what you've set up, and then of your project, and then you can shoot through your scenes. Default, if you have multiple scenes set up, you can, select from the drop down. Since I only have the one, that's all it's showing up. And then it'll take a few moments and it'll link everything in here. That's a reflection of literally all the buttons you created on the Mixer Dev Lab. Now what you'll do here, which is pretty great, once you see all these, you'll have these edit commands here. So for, let's see, game over, right? So the trigger is mouse down, so it's an actual click. The cost, 400 sparks. And then if you want video or images, you want to choose the overlay option. So this would be blank from the start, right? You wouldn't have anything here for this command initially. So you'd go to this action down here, and it gives you a whole list of different things you can do. You can have it send a chat message, conditional, counter, currency, Discord, external program, which I haven't really dived into yet, file, game queue, interactive, mixer clips, overlay, which is images and videos, song requests, sound, special identifier, Spotify, stream stuff. I mean, it's very full featured. It's an awesome app, and it's a labor of love from the community. He streams on @WatchMixer when he's doing development stuff sometimes. It's I think it's Savior X Tamrin? Savior X something. I will look it up and let you know for sure. Awesome dude. He's one of the, I don't know if he's the sole developer on this or the one of the few. But he does a lot of the streaming on when he's developing stuff, and also follow him on Twitter. Pretty great. Always posting updates and stuff like that. So if you want to do images and video, and this is how I said you can have the button trigger multiple things: sound, text, etc. So overlay will be for images and video. So once you add the overlay, you'll get this expanded menu of how to set the properties of it. You can choose what it is that you're trying to trigger, which is image, text, video, a YouTube, HTML web page. So for the purposes of me, I use images, I use GIFs, and then you'll put in the path to that particular GIF or image file. Could be JPEG, could be anything. So you'll put in your path here, and then you can do the screen or screen position. They have kind of like snap to areas by default. They have 8 of them. So I just have it at the very top of my screen. You can put it wherever you want. You can play around with this. And the nice thing is you can hit play to test it each time if you want to move something, or they have advanced, where you can really position from left to from the top, which that works too. You can mess with that as well. You can set the dimensions of the image to fit within, so it'll kind of shrink it down and expand it based on the width and height you set here. How long you want it to appear on the stream when it's triggered, and then you can choose different entrance and exit animations, which are pretty cool. And it's just fun to play around with this stuff and see what you like, or what you would like to see in someone streaming. You can kind of take that and say, well, this would be kind of cool. This is what I would like to see, so you can implement it for your streams. And then you'd hit save. That's great. But let's go back in. So just out of habit, I always hit save. You don't have to because you're not done with it yet if you want to trigger something else like sound along with it. So I have sound files. And have sound files on, in a folder somewhere stashed to keep all that stuff. So you'd go down here again. You would do sound, hit the plus sign to add it, and you get something called sound. And you can rename these as well. Let me just let you know that you just rename this to whatever you want. I just usually use the defaults, like just to show you can rename it. So that's all well and good. Like I said, it's very full featured. So sound, put in the path to your sound file. You can actually choose the audio device that you want it to play out of. So depending on how you have OBS set up, you could send this strictly to the stream, or you can have it play both your stream and your headphones or speakers or whatever, and things like that. And you can adjust the volume of it too. How loud you want it to be, which is pretty awesome. So, because there's sometimes, as you all know, audio is tricky, especially streaming, and you're triggering things and sound effects, things like that, and you'll find out then they're not all the same. They're vary greatly in how the initial volume is. So being able to adjust this in this is awesome. So let's save on that. So that's just an example of one. So what'll happen is someone's on your stream, right? So let me just open up another tab. I'll go to this live stream right now. I might do some Inception level stuff here. Stream within a stream. So this is how it looks. I'll move this off the screen. This is what the viewers, followers, etc. are going to see when they tune into your stream. So we had all of these created, right, in the dev lab. And we set the color properties and button names and label names here. Once you set that up and you've installed MixItUp, you can then pull this information as far as names and spark cost, etc. down, right? So have all these, they mirror each other, but this MixItUp is where you're really adding the uniqueness to it as far as what those buttons are going to do, if that makes sense. Hope it does. So, woo, Inception! So, the buttons show up here, and it took me a while to kind of figure out the colors and stuff. Through a couple test streams, so as you can see, have the accent colors that kind of highlight them when you're hovering over, and the spark cost highlights with it. So let's just go through these real quick, right? So what you would do is, so let's like for info, I have this set to trigger my Twitter info in chat. So if I click that in chat, you can follow me on Twitter at da-da-da-da-da. There's my link to my Twitter account. Great. And you notice this, the cooldown and the color of the cooldown, which is great. And then YouTube, click that, same thing. And all I did with this one in the MixItUp app for, that's a little jarring. Sorry about that. So, and here for Twitter and YouTube and Xbox Gamer Tag, all that stuff. All this is simple button, no spark cost, right? So this is simply set as a chat message from that drop down. If you remember the drop down for the other one we did for game over, right? We had the action, and all you do for these, just a chat message, and hit save, and then you will get a window like this to set up that chat info. So it's just button being cooldown with all. I set by itself, 0 spark cost because I'm not going to have anybody pay to find out my Twitter info. And then the cooldown, 10 seconds. And then you can toggle these if you want to send it as your streamer, as yourself, as Budrum, or as your bot if it's off. So if I toggle this on, it'll send as Bubdrum, me. Off sends as my bot, Bubbot. And you can whisper the user specifically if you like, which you can always look at the special identifiers reference on their website. Very, very thorough documentation on there as far as like arguments and different things you can put in there to either tag the username that triggered the action, whisper that person, etc. So then you just type in what you want it to say, hit save, and you saw the result of that in the chat here. So moving on, so that's just your basic chat ones, and you can also see the labels in-game random. So the one we were discussing, I'm going to pause the music for a second so you can hear some of the sound effects with these. So the game over one, right? We set that up as an overlay so we can trigger an image, which is a GIF file we have pointed to, and a sound. So we have two different actions being triggered on one button press. So here's game over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Right. So, good lesson here. The overlay itself in OBS, I did not refresh because I disconnected and reconnected the MixItUp app for the purposes of this stream. So, always go in here to have your overlay set, which is under services. Again, let's get rid of that. Services. Overlay. So, in OBS, man, it's going to look weird. In OBS, you'll add a scene as a browser source. Or browser. It's just called browser now, not browser source. Browser. I name it MixItUp Overlay. Show you this, right? So this is for properties for MixIt Overlay, and localhost, which is basically what this is pointing to, right? This gives you this by default. Put that in there. Then hit test connection, and this is probably going to fail because I did not do this correctly. So you have to go in here and refresh the cache because I launched OBS. OBS was already open after I had closed out of MixItUp app and logged out, and then reopened MixItUp app and logged back in. So now it should flash connection test successful. So just some food for thought when you're getting things set up. If you have the overlay for your interactive stuff to be triggered and display on the stream, open MixItUp app first before you open up OBS, and it should auto-connect all that. My mistake, I should have gone ahead and redid all that before I opened it, but, you know, we all make mistakes. So I set up 1920 by 1080, 25 frames per second, which is fine. It's just an overlay. It's just GIFs and stuff, so nothing too huge there. And then you just hit OK. Great. So let's go back to that. Image and sound being triggered. So I am a viewer watching this awesome stream.
That's it, man.
Game over.
Game over, man. It's game over.
So there you go. Then click the other ones. This other one's rip. So you see that pop on screen. So yeah, just going through the interactive stuff here. Yo, Greg, what's going on, brother? Some Inception level stuff going on here, man. Trying to teach some folks how interactive is working. or no one right now. No one tuned in. That's okay, though. It's all good, man. It's all good. We'll be on VOD. You can watch me screw up. But, yeah, so Once you have MixItUpApp installed and you have your Mixer DevLab stuff installed, or not installed, or set up in here for the Mixer DevLab for your interactive, and you've installed the MixItUpApp, it's pretty great. So you'll have these awesome buttons. Again, like you can configure all the colors and text size and stuff like that. I'm actually using the MixItUpApp, which is flippin' amazing. It's developed by a guy who actually streams on Mixer. I need to find his name. I think it's Savior X Tamrin. It's MixItUpApp.com. So let's see. Because yeah, he is a streamer and he uses it, so it's awesome. His team, where is he? Okay, it's 3 guys. Tanrin. He's the one that will actually do development streams on Mixer to show you what he's what they're working on, and pretty cool guy. Very awesome team of folks here. It's a labor of love project, completely free, and they're always doing updates to it. They have a pretty nice wiki, and yeah, it's good stuff, man. I will show you what it all looks like. So this is Mix It Up. Let me go over Chia. This is Mix It Up, and you can tell it to have a pop-out chat, which is what this is. Which is pretty cool, man. And it links into everything. So you have chat, you have the ability to update your channel, so the stream title, test, age rating, all that stuff. You can do a raid from your channel, which is pretty sweet. You can put a specific username, or you can just fill out search criteria, which is awesome. And then you have favorited users that you can add. Then you have your commands. Oh, commands. They have a bunch of pre-mades, which is great, that you can turn on or off. So these are all baked in to Mix It Up, and it's all just like exclamation point and then add quote or band commands if you want to know what the commands are. So I can just hit play. I'll show you all the commands that I have enabled, which is awesome. And then has some built-in games. Yeah, dude, it's I've been real happy with it. I did have Firebot before, which was cool, and that was great just for the interactive portion of it, right? But doing other things, you still need another solution for, or multiple solutions for. This is as close to an all-in-one solution as I found. I still have to use one other overlay, which is StreamJar, just for like the scrolling follower bar at the bottom and the goal stuff. And then you can set up your own custom commands. So I have like a shout out, rules, lurk mode, bub coin currency, social info, and you can set up your own currency, which is awesome too. And this is the interactive stuff. So interactive gets pulled down from the Mixer DevLab that you created the buttons and labels for, and then you can go in here and assign the actual actions to them. So choose overlay, which triggers images. You can tell it, oh, okay, image, text, video, YouTube, etc. The positioning of it, the size of it, pixel-wise, how long it stays on the screen, animations entering in and exiting out. And then you save it, or you can trigger multiple actions on one button, which is pretty great. So you can have your one button that does an image, a sound, and text. How cool is that? So the game over one, I have it triggering an image and a sound file. So let's just play this real quick. I know I've played it once already, but I'll do it again because it's fun.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
And then the Other ones are just like Twitter, the social, YouTube, gamertag stuff. That's just chat commands. So it'll just send it into chat. Instead, it won't display anything on the stream, just strictly for chat. Cupcake. That's Magneto offering you a cupcake. I'm a big nerd. So that's the interactive portion of how Mix It Up ties into with that. And then you have events that you can set up, channel follow, channel hosted. So for these, same sort of situation. This actually has 3 different things. So this has text, sound, and an image. So for channel followed, trigger the GIF, the audio, and the text coming across the screen, entering in and exiting out. And you can do so. There's GameWisp integration and Gawkbox and Streamlabs donation integration, which is pretty sweet. I haven't dived into that stuff yet. I'm still, diving into the streamer life. So let me close this guy out. Put the chat back over here. And then timers. You can set up timers for different things too. So every 20 minutes with a minimum of 10 messages in chat. So as long as there's 10 messages total in chat, it'll trigger a timer every 20 minutes for just little chat blurbs. So it could be about donations, social info. Don't forget to follow the channel, stuff like that. I only have 3 set up. I might get into doing some more at a later time. Action groups, have no idea what these are yet. Haven't dived into them. Remote, that's if you're doing something. That's a closed beta situation, I think, for iOS and Android. Yeah, closed alpha. So can't really show anything with that. And then you can set up your own currency and rank system. So a setup currency, which is Bubcoin. And yeah, good stuff. Games, you have spin the wheel. So you can spin the wheel here. And you have to basically put it in chat with a numerical amount. And then you can do giveaways. You can put games in your queue with sub priorities, usage requirements. Also, I mean, it's really, really full featured, and they just keep adding to it and refining it, and it's great. You can do a song queue, song request, which is pretty great. Quotes, you can have different quotes that are triggered in the game for it. Statistics. Gives you stats on things, moderation if you have different things you want to exempt, ban, etc. You can set all that stuff in here. Then the different services. Just awesome stuff. But anyway, back to the interactive stuff. So that is relatively a quick and dirty kind of rundown on how the Mixer interactive, or Mixplay, if you will. Now I have to get used to that branding change or name change. Mixplay works with the MixItUpApp stream manager. I wouldn't even call it a bot because it's so much more than a bot. I could call it a stream manager application. That's what I'm going to refer to it as. Calling it just a bot doesn't seem to do it justice. And I'm not trying, I am not endorsed by MixItUpApp. They probably don't even know who the heck I am. I just like something that works. So, and is full featured, and it's pretty foolproof unless you do something dumb and forget something, and it's on the user. So that is pretty much it. So let's go back and just do a recap here. So you'll log into your Mixer account. You'll go to your profile and go to the dev lab. That'll be here at the bottom. right? You'll go to Mixplay projects. You'll add your new project and name it. Then go to the editor. You'll give it it'll have your name, all that fun stuff. And you can add different things here if you want to share it out with the community. You can do all that. I haven't done it. That's okay. Click on the build tab. You'll get your grid. The grid is the most important. So you can set up your scenes and whatever you like. You'll add your different controls and you'll give them the properties like so. And then you can arrange them. One thing I forgot to mention, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't say that. Once you have these here, just click on these two little dashes here and actually drag it over to add it to the grid, to your layout. I guess I should have covered that. Oh well, first time doing one of these little tutorial streams, so it's all good. Do your layouts for all three formats, because you're gonna have viewers and followers that, you know, when tuning your stream, it may not always be at a desktop. So don't be forgetting to set it up for the different devices in different formats. Set all these up. You can go back to your bot, and for me, like I said, it's MixItUp. So that's what I use. So you can go to the MixItUpApp.com and download it, install it, log in with your streamer account on Mixer. It'll go through the OAuth. You'll do that. Log out completely. Clear your cookies out of your browser. Then go in and set up your bot account and link your bot account for management if you want to go that route. If you don't, that's fine too. You can send everything as a streamer account. It's just a preference. Once you're logged in, you can go to the MixItUp app. By default, it'll go to chat. You'll go to the interactive portion. You will select which scene and which project you have. It'll pull everything down. It'll connect it all. You'll go in, add all your images, settings, everything like that to each button. Once that's done, you'll want to go to services. You can do this part first if you like in OBS. You can add a source to your scene in OBS. Call it whatever you like, but make sure it is a browser source. You will put this in as the URL or link to the browser source. And now that'll basically enable you to display the images, everything like that, when they're triggered during stream. And you should be good to go. And again, if you have any questions, my Twitter handle is Bubdrum, BUBDRUM. YouTube, Bubdrum. I'm pretty much Bubdrum everywhere. Xbox, Twitter, YouTube, Mixer. It's pretty much what I use everywhere. If you have any questions, or if you stumble upon this as a later VOD and have some questions about stuff, just feel free to ask me a question. Feel free to hit me up. More than happy to help anybody out. So I know when I was first starting with trying to get streams going and figuring out which bot program works for which, I tried so many different ones. MixItUp app is what works for me. I've been able to go to do the interactive stuff pretty quickly with it, without much headache at all. So that's gonna do it for the tutorial stuff. Let's see, I've run about 50 minutes, and yeah, I'm gonna be hopping on some games here in a little bit. And that'll do it. So stay tuned. I'm gonna be right back. Open Microsoft Word. Go to Office365.com. Give Microsoft some money. Hit the download button. Let it do its magic. Hit the start menu. Type in Word. There you go. That's how you do it. Appreciate that, Nightmare. Appreciate that. But yeah, I'm getting ready to hop off here and fire up some game stuff. So stick around. The stream's gonna stop for a second, but it's gonna fire right back up in just a couple minutes. So yeah, stick around. I don't know what I'm getting into, man. It's hard to say. Hard to say. Download a new free-to-play game too. It's actually available on Xbox and PC. Raiders of a Broken Planet? I think that's what it's called. So maybe I'll hop on that. Maybe I'll hop on Dishonored some more. I don't know. We will see. But anyway, guys, I'll be right back. Y'all take care.